fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. When Toastmaster Gaurav sent me the theme, I kept wondering, what can I even talk about this theme? Everything surrounding this theme was alien to me. And finally, I somehow came up with my conclusion. Knots of relationships, friendships, adulthood, and parenting. All these are phases or are part of our life which will and which shall always be entangled, has thin threads which shall obstruct from having a smooth ride of our lives. Knots of life is an obstruction at every other given point. But the only way is to have fun and enjoy the life by giving a regular dose of motivation. And in my language, I call motivation as empowering yourself. The best way. Empowering yourself can take out all those obstructions which you have faced due to the knots of relationships which I spoke before. Today, I know someone who has passed all knots and has empowered several on her path. She's a science graduate, actively involved with an NGO called Inner Wheel for the last 16 years. That's more than half of my life. She has served as Sergeant at Arms, Secretary and Associate VPPR earlier. She is fond of traveling, reading and practicing yoga. Please help me welcome President Toastmaster Lalanamo.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I see some guests here. I request you to introduce yourself and tell us how you came to know about Mekon Communication Club.
I'm Adarsh.
Okay.
My friend son is not here. He told me to. I want to run the son here.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Adarsh.
You want your son to get enrolled, is it?
You have to introduce as long as you come accompany anybody. You have to introduce yourself. Tell your name, how you came to know about those masters. Let after that your son know.
I told him my friend's son is told me to run here.
Okay.
So I came here.
Yourself? Can you please introduce yourself? Can you get up and introduce yourself?
Sumuk, and I got to know about these Toastmasters from my friends, so I can really check it out.
Okay. What do you do, Suma?
I made commerce.
Which year?
First year.
First year.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Welcome. Sir, can you introduce yourself?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nagesh Ramamurthy. Yes, I'm a member here, but for the first time.
Welcome, sir. Oh, yeah. I saw your name in the group. I hadn't seen you, so my apologies.
The
Yeah.
reason you are, like, I'll take one. Reason perhaps you don't know is you have to post your photograph in your website. So please admit
I'll
that
send
point.
it across.
And you also have to post it. This is your photo, you cannot recognize it in the website.
Can you introduce yourself?
Good evening, my dear fellow Toastmasters and all my dear guests. I am Saitriya. I am doing my BA in English Honors. I came to know about Toastmasters through my close friend Surekha and Robinson, who is a lawyer. And
That's how you are here. Okay. Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry.
my name is Shreya. I am a chartered accountant. I graduated from Branson. Also, Toastmasters Art Station is my background.
Okay.
That's how I got to know about.
Welcome. I now request Secretary Toastmaster Prasad to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
Thank you, Madam President. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1183 held on the 10th of October 2022. Theme was Losing is Learning. Word of the week, Dearth. The business session started at 6:48 p.m. and was chaired by Presiding Officer Toastmaster Gaurav. In the business session, the following points were addressed. The Vice President Education Toastmaster Gaurav mentioned that all of the roles were open for the next meeting apart from 3 speech slots. Interested members were requested to contact him for the same. The regular meeting started at 6:49 p.m. Acting Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Prasad started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to Presiding Officer Toastmaster Gaurav. The Presiding Officer opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Vaishnav. The Master of Ceremonies spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day: Timer Toastmaster Lakshmi, R-Counter Toastmaster Pavani, CR, Grammarian Toastmaster Sharanya and EP Evaluator Toastmaster Prasad. The prepared speech session had the following speech: Toastmaster Suprabha Bhatt attempting level 1 project 1 and was evaluated by Toastmaster Ujjwal P. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Jyoti Rao and had 9 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Supreet. The winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Suprabha, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Ujjwal P, Best Table Topic Speaker DTM AK Prabhakara, Best Role Taker Tab G Toastmaster Sharanya and Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Supreet. The presiding officer closed the meeting at 8:38 p.m. which was followed by the National Anthem. Thank you and over to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prasad. Are there any amendments to the minutes? If not, I will consider it as accepted and open meeting number 1184. The theme for today is Entanglement and Empowerment. Both these, on the face of it, both these terms seem to be at odds with each other. However, Sadhguru says you can use everything that happens in your life as a process of empowerment or to entangle yourself. I would like to speak about women empowerment and the entanglements they face in this journey. According to me, an empowered woman is someone who balances the entanglements with her family and the other roles she is expected to perform and still pursues her desire for self-achievement. In the earlier times, women were traditionally homemakers, but their roles have evolved over the years. The changing roles of a woman today include career issues, lifestyle, taking care of the lifestyle changes for the family, children's education, and very often they also take care of investments for their family as well. Though it has been difficult to juggle these various entanglements, women have overcome the challenges with the help of their support systems. While pursuing their careers, being away from their family and children are the toughest decisions for women to make is what I feel. And the uncertainties that the mothers face are the welfare of their children. They have to leave them with someone they trust, and it's usually their next of kin, like their parents or their in-laws. This decision is taken in the hope that these people, their relatives, would nurture the children and take care of them as the mothers would do. To give my own example, I was working when both my children were in school. I would finish all my work early in the morning, pack my children's lunch boxes and send them off to school by 7:30 in the morning. Then I would leave for work. But I always made sure that my mother would be there when the children returned from school, as I would come later around 6 or 6:30 p.m. from my workplace. Later on, I would come home and then maybe take care of their homework and of course get things ready for the next day. But then things would always not be so simple. If it was normal, it was fine. And Suppose one of them fell sick, then it was really difficult to leave them and go to the office as a mother. I would really feel guilty because I would have to go because suddenly I can't take off from office. And even though knowing that my mother would be there to take care of them, it would really be difficult. So I remember an incident when the famous cine star Dr. Rajkumar was kidnapped by Veerappan. I was at work and my children were in school. The news suddenly broke out in the middle of the day, maybe around 11 o'clock or something, and there was chaos all around the city with people protesting and mobs going on rampage. Some of the seniors here might remember that. And everyone was asked to leave and reach their homes because people were simply getting targeted left and right. I was really worried about my children because the van which we had fixed would reach the school only at a stipulated time, and that would be around 3 o'clock or 3:30. So however, I rushed to the school from my workplace only to find out that they had already left. The school had somehow bundled everybody in one area. We were in Chinagar, so some van which was the school van that was going to Chinagar, they had sent them off there, and there were major traffic jams. So I was really worried, and somehow I was not satisfied till I reached home, and it was such a great relief to see them at home. But I can never forget the panic I faced and the anxiety I went through till I reached home and saw them. To quote the famous businesswoman Indra Nooyi, who was earlier the CEO of PepsiCo, she says, at the end of the day, don't forget you are a person. Don't forget you are a mother. Don't forget you are a wife. Don't forget you are a sister. Because in the end, no matter how much money you make or how much success you create, all that you are left with is family, friends, and faith. Dear Toastmasters, I feel that entanglement is not detrimental to empowerment. In fact, I feel they go both of them go hand in hand. It is up to us as to how we face these challenges and strike the right work-life balance. To tell us more about the theme and to take the meeting forward, we have a Toastmaster who is multi-talented and has varied interests. Being a commerce graduate, he is pursuing his diploma in paralegal practice from IGNOU. He is also a certified law counselor. His hobbies are reading, meditation, and cooking. Please put your hands together and help me welcome the Master of Ceremonies for the day, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra.
Thank you, President, for your wonderful introduction. Apologies because the grammarian is yet to reach here, so some adjustments have to be done. I had told Sai earlier itself, so he's ready with grammarian role. Once again, give a big round of applause to Sai Singh. What is entanglement? What is empowerment? Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests. A person involving in a complicated situation, feeling trapped, unable to come out of the situation, or disengagement, which is detrimental to transformation or change, is entanglement. Then what is empowerment? Becoming powerful, Becoming powerful means how? By learning and improving new skill sets to handle whatever might be the situation in life, to come out of the adverse situations. How can we do that? The question comes to mind. We all know that there is a process of empowerment. We have a lot of information available, maybe books, internet, friends, parents, so on and so forth. Is that information sufficient to get empowered? The answer is no. Beyond information, we need knowledge. What do you mean by knowledge? Information plus skill set becomes knowledge. Is this two sufficient for empowerment? No, again. It is the wisdom that plays a vital role. Why I say so? Wisdom gives us when to apply, where to apply, how to apply. That really constitutes empowerment. When I say this, animals and human are vulnerable to entanglement and also empowerment. Why I say so? A cheetah which is born as a cheetah lives and dies as a cheetah, whereas an insect which is born doesn't stay as an insect. Why I say so? There is a process known as metamorphosis in zoology. It takes transformation from one form to another form. That is what natural empowerment means in zoology. Coming to the human part of it, is that so natural to all of us? The answer is no. Human being is the only, say, that person or a human being is capable of getting into or taking into whatever situation into their own control. That means he can become powerful at any stage or at any age in life. This happens whenever we do the introspection part and take a decision where to go and how to go. Somewhere to here to where. This is possible only by human beings. That is known as transformation. It's only possible by human beings. To give an example, one of my colleagues who hails from neighboring state, one day he came and told me he is able to speak Kannada well, but he developed an inferiority complex because he doesn't know to read and write Kannada. I told him that you have an interest to learn local language, that reading and writing. That itself is very positive in nature. I told him, identify a teacher to spread 25 hours of time, maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes every day. Start learning the language. Down the lane, 6 months, with beaming confidence, he told me that he has learned reading and writing Kannada to the best possible way. This is how the transformation took place. We humans, if we really mind, definitely change ourselves. Take one particular quality of development within one's own ourselves by introspection. Spend 25 hours, you will get the proficiency. It's always possible. To give my own example, singing and dancing. These two are the things which I wanted to do since my childhood, but I could not. 6 months back, I started humming, listening to music. One day, I started singing at home to begin with. My sister came and told me, how come you are singing well? That really gave me enough confidence. In one of the table topics, I could sing here. That is a transformation that I had there. When it comes to the dancing, I have not yet danced anywhere in my life, but going to Bharatanatyam class is out of reach, in the sense that I don't have that bent of mind. Now dancing, Western dance is very easy. Only thing is you have to lift hand, do this much. This itself is a dance according to party. That's what we see in television and all. Or else hold somebody else's hand, simply turn like this. That itself is a dance. This is how that one has to overcome whatever that entanglement that we have within ourselves. Probably in the year 1924, in my view, Ralph C. Smedley would have thought that people are entangled, they need some empowerment, and started Toastmasters at YMCA, Santa Ana, California. It has a worldwide presence, presently having 3 lakh members in 149 countries, more than 15,800 member clubs. Typical Toastmasters meeting has 3 sessions. Prepaid speech session. Speakers are given time to prepare a speech on any subject according to their choice, adhering to pathway manual guidelines. Table topics session. This is to develop impromptu speaking skills. Speakers are chosen randomly and given topic to which speaker has to respond immediately. Evaluation session happens to be third. Speeches and proceedings of the meeting will be evaluated by evaluators. To help me in conducting the meeting, we have 4 auxiliary role takers and request them to explain their role. Timer, Toastmaster Sharanya.
A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. There might be inequalities, differences and partiality in everything. But there's this one thing which is not partial or unequal to anyone, that is called as time. It solely depends on how we use it. So rather than procrastinating, we should finish it on time. As a timer, my main role is to keep track of time, ensure the importance of time and how efficiently we can complete the task in the given stipulated period. I will be timing the prepared speech speakers, table topic speakers and the evaluators. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow and the red cards which denote the specific time remaining. I request everyone to use their time effectively and efficiently. So for the first session, that is the prepared speech session, the time period is between 5 to 7 minutes. At the end of 5 minutes, I will raise the green card. At the end of 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at the end of 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. Coming to the second session, that is the table topic session, the table topic speaker should limit their remark to not more than 2 minutes. So I'll be raising the green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds and the red card at 2 minutes. The next session is the individual evaluation session, and that should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card, and at 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. I'll be submitting my report when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you, and back to you.
Our counter Toastmaster Ujjwal.
A very happy evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Just as a small, minute dot in a plain sheet of paper which is vibrantly white makes the audience attention mainly focuses on this and forgets about the entire wider part. In the similar manner, in a wonderful and a great speech, one single killer sounds such as or single use of crutch words for several number of times, or one big unwanted pause at the conclusion of the speech, it brings all the attention of the audience towards that and makes the audience to forget about the rest of the wonderful speech. So my dear Toastmasters, as the accountant for today, I'll be noting down the overused words or filler sounds used as crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Sounds may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so and you know. Sounds may be or er. I'll give my report at the general evaluation session. Thank you and over to you, MC.
PP Evaluator, Toastmaster Vaishnavi.
Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. As the Parliamentary Procedure Officer for today, I shall make sure that no one speaks about sex, religion and politics. Please make sure to keep your cell phones on mute so it doesn't disturb anyone while speaking or the meeting. Please enter and exit during the applause time itself, not in between the speech. And I shall give my report when called upon by the General Evaluator. Thank you and back to MC.
Grammarian Sai Snehal Reddy.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Continuing with what Toastmaster Ujjwal has to say about the black dot on that white piece of paper, grammar does exactly the same thing. Using good grammar will empower your speeches to get better and take it to the next level. My role as a grammarian today is to make sure I note down the good usage and the usages which can be better, and I will give my report during the general evaluation when called upon. And coming to the word of the day, which means renege, which means to deny or to withdraw. Usage, I'm sure this is from Gaurav's personal life. I treated them a couple of times and never once did they renege. Thank you and back to the master.
Thank you all role takers. Let us begin the first session, prepared speech session. First speaker is attempting level 1 project 2 speech 1. I request Toastmaster Jyoti Rao to read the project guidelines. Jyoti, come.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. The purpose statement of the speech is the project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to the second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Note for the evaluator: the member has spent time writing a speech to present at a club meeting. About this speech, the member will deliver a well-organized speech on any topic. Focus on the member's speaking style. Be sure to recommend improvements that the member can apply to the next speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The member will ask you to evaluate his or her second speech at a future meeting. Over to the Toastmaster of the day, and all the best to the speaker.
The speaker is attempting level 1 project 2 speech 1. The speaker is an experienced technology professional, electronics engineer, holds MS in computer science from Arizona University, a certified project management professional and Scrum Master. Presently, speaker has embarked on an entrepreneurial journey, enjoys reading, listening to Hindustani classical music, and also learning to play Veena. The speech title being One Order of English Served, Foreign Key Side Up. The speaker, Toastmaster Lakshmi. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming the first speaker of the day. With a round of applause.
We think we know it, we all speak it. At times we struggle with the grammar, at times we enjoy it, sometimes we simply don't understand it. Bonsoir, good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, welcome. We are all here to better ourselves in the art of clear and effective communication in English, aren't we? So I thought, what better topic to talk about today than the English language itself. Its idiosyncrasies are so many, its grammar immense. Rules are plenty, but exceptions exceed them. So I present to you today One Order of English served funarchy side up. Don't look for funarchy in the dictionary, it's not there. It's a word I came up with. I wanted to say funny and quirky represents English. So I came up with funarchy. Maybe it will find itself in the dictionary someday, we'll see. One day, Raj and Kiran were writing an English test. So their teacher told them to describe that John had suffered from a cold in the past. So Raj wrote, John had a cold. Kiran wrote, John had had a cold. While Raj's was marked wrong, Kiran's was marked correct. So if I were to summarize what happened, I would say, while Raj had had, Kiran had a better effect on the teacher. Yes, I used the word had 8 times, and yes, you all look rightly puzzled. But let's try this again with the right pronunciation this time. So, while Raj had, Kiran had a better effect on the teacher. Now I hope this was a little more clear with the punctuation this time, but still very confusing, isn't it? This is grammatically correct, but why abuse the poor word had like this? But that's English for you. There is a set of letters in English, O-U-G-H, one of the really confusing set of letters to pronounce. So let me give you an example sentence, and we'll just see if you can guess how many words might have the O-U-G-H in it. I thought it would be rough to plow through the slough, though it was falling into the lark that left me thoroughly coughing and hiccuping. So let's see the sentence. Thank you. So there are 9 words here that use O-U-G-H, each one pronounced differently. So if you feel like that character above, I completely sympathize with you. So let's
Can I have the next slide, please? So there are 9 words. Let's just go through a couple of them. Thought. In thought, O-U-G-H makes the sound ow. In rough, uff. In plow, ow. And so on, you can read it. But there are some old pronunciation like L-O-U-G-H is pronounced lark. Don't ask me why. In hiccup, now MS Word has changed it to H-I-C-C-U-P, thank goodness. But this is a correct old spelling of hiccup. So, even with all these explanations, so many varied pronunciations of one set of letters is enough to confuse anybody. Can you imagine somebody learning English for the first time if they went through this? I would tear my hair out in despair, I think. Then we have some words, you may have come across this in English grammar. They are spelt the same, but they are not pronounced the same. And the meanings are also not the same. We call them homonyms. So, the bandage was wound around the wound. The wind was too strong to wind up the sail. Then we also have words that are spelt the same and pronounced the same, but they do not mean the same. He thought, since there was no time like the present, it was time to present the present. We were too close to the door to close it. Quirky, right? Wait till you hear the next one. Let's consider the words a lot and a few. Do we agree that they are opposite in nature? I have a lot of books, I have a few books. They're opposites. Now precede it with the word quite. Quite a lot, quite a few. Let's use these in sentences. I have read quite a lot of books. I have read quite a few books. I have watched quite a lot of movies. I have seen quite a few movies. How come now they mean the same? Puzzling, isn't it? But that's English for you. While we are on this subject of opposites, let's talk about oxymorons. Please give me an exact estimate, we say. By nature, an estimate is nowhere near exact. So what is an exact estimate? The airplane crash landed. What did it do? Did it crash or did it land? But that's an oxymoron. So English is clearly confusing. Let me give you a tip on how to write faster. Here tip means advice. 2 more steps and you will tip over that ledge. Here tip means to fall over. The tip of the knife is really sharp. Here it means end point. I gave the waiter a very large tip today. Here it means a service fee. Did English run out of words? Why did we have to overload words like this? We call a person from Iceland, Icelandic. So by that definition, a person from Thailand should be Thailandic? No, we call them Thai. Alright, in Thailand, Thai. So people from England should be Ing? No, we call them English. People from England are English. So what about people from Switzerland? They should be Switzerish? No, wait, we call them Swiss. Alright, people from Switzerland are Swiss. So people from New Zealand are New. I'm going to stop here because this can go on for quite a while. My last quirk of the day is what I call verbs with direction. So when we say a building is burning up, it is actually burning down, isn't it? I am filling out a form, but I am actually filling it in. When my alarm clock goes off in the morning, it is actually going on because it was off all this time, wasn't it? When I wind up my watch, I am starting it. But when I wind up my talk, I am ending it. So Toastmasters, let's always continue to listen and learn this quirky language. Let's practice it every chance we get here at Toastmasters and at everywhere else. Because English, we will definitely master you. We will do it here together at Toastmasters and we will most definitely have fun doing it. Because always remember, the language that you speak shapes the way that you think. Thank you all for listening. Can I have the last slide, please? These are my sources for this speech. Thank you and back to you.
Incidentally, when I saw first time the title of the speech, immediately I searched Google. It came FUNKY, R was missing. Immediately I messaged her, what exactly you mean by this? She said, it's not my invention. Tomorrow I will know. From today onwards, I'll call her Professor of English. Next speaker is attempting level 1 project 3 speech 1. I request Toastmaster Shiva to read project guidelines. Shiva.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Notes for the evaluator: the member has spent time writing a speech at a club to present at a club meeting. About this speech, the member will deliver a well-organized speech on any topic. Focus on the member's speaking style. Be sure to recommend improvements that the member can apply to the next speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The member will ask you to evaluate his or her second speech at a future meeting. The speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker. Back to your Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva. The speaker is computer science engineering graduate, passionate photographer, aiming to become wildlife photographer. He is a foodie, never says no to food and trips. He has a dream to go on road trip to Leh and Ladakh. Youngest distinguished Toastmaster through pathways. Record holder at Indian Book of Records. Past area director and current Division C director. Speaker is attempting level 1 project 3 speech 1. Speech title being Journey Unknown. Speaker DTM Udanka. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome second speaker of the evening, DTM Udanka, onto the stage with big round of applause.
How many of you here like to go on road trips? Raise your hand. Especially at night. I see a mixture of opinions. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome, dear guest. As my intros goes, I'm a person who likes going on trips or road trips. So that's how I built up my passion there on going. It was one evening in the December with these chilling nights. Me, along with my brother and two of our neighbors, whom we know from our childhood, wanted to go on a night out, where we usually go to the Cafe Coffee Day present in Kanakpura Road. That's our usual hangout place for us. But this time, we told our parents that we are going there, but we were not heading there. We were exploring things that day. I don't know for what joy, I don't know for out of what curiosity it came out to all the four of us at a time, saying, let's go out of the box. Why out of the box? No one knows the answer. We just want to explore things there at night. Do you agree with me? Exploring new things, new roads at night. Anyone wants to try out with me? Few hands now, very few hands now. So this is how the situation went. I headed out that day night. We went half the way till Cafe Coffee Day so that our parents know if they are tracking our GPS, because now parents know the technology and they can really track us out. Right? So I did not want them to call me and say you're not going in the right direction. So we were like, let us go till Kanakpura Road and let's take a deviation from there. We went inside the Kanakpura and took a deviation. Out of nowhere, we just took a random right and a random left, random right, random left, and we were into the jungles. And we don't know what to go, where to go, what to do at midnight, 1 a.m. We were lucky enough that the car fuel was full, and we were unlucky enough because our mobile had no network. No network, that means no GPS. That means no route further. And the only thing what we can hear is kitch, 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 kitch sound in the forest. And the only light we had is the car's headlight and our torches from our phones. What would be our position that night? We don't know which way to head. And the roads are not so good so that we can explore things. Few roads led us directly to gutters, or it was dead ends where we can find a huge pathhole or a huge well which is drained out. We were stunned. Everyone were blank that night. We were clueless what to do next. Parents cannot reach us out because we had no networks at our phone. Parents did not know that we were exploring new things because we told we are going to our usual hangout place and we'll be back by 1. But we got lost at 1. We decided not to lose our courage that night. Let us explore because we have enough fuel that night. Left and right, however, we'll come back to any one of the main roads, either Kanakpura main road or Mysore main road. And we'll have petrol bunks there. We'll reach out somehow there. Somehow reaching there was our main task that night. We had to take so many deviations that there were n number of deviations we took. Many a times, there was a point where for at least 3-4 times we revolved on the same small town. We realized after we saw the 3rd time and the 4th time we realized that we are revolving around the same village. Take a left and right, you come back there. I did not understand the logic that night. How would you take a left and a right to reach back the same place? Can anyone explain here? Definitely not. Even I could not explain that day. And we could not even explain how the chilling night it was so that we can go out in our bare foot and see if we can go further. It was so, even this big jacket what I'm wearing today was making me cold that day. Now I'm sweating because the weather is humid today. But that day this big jacket could not resist the cold. But no, we did not lose the hopes that day. We did not lose the courage that night. We thought, let us explore no matter what happens. After this big silence at our minds, we were really, our courage, our interest were coming down. After a few times, few revolvings, our courage came down. But no matter what, there was one person with us who would still hold up the courage. If one of them lose, there was other to pick me up there. And luckily, that evening, we started from Kanakpura Road and reached at Mysore Road. We started at around 7 p.m. in the night and reached at 5 a.m. in the morning. Just 35 kilometers. We took almost 8 hours. So what exactly happened that night? What exactly was my learning that night? No matter what the situation is, never lose hopes that you will not come out of the situation. More than that, I understood that day that I should never lie my parents and go out, because within I come back home, my father, my uncle and my neighbors' fathers, everyone were standing right in front of the road with their furious faces on their face, waiting for us to come back, because they could not call us and ask where are we that night. So that was the day I decided never to lose hope and never to lie to the parents. In fact, after that incident, my dad encouraged me to do more such events so that I learn more roads. Not I learn driving, nor I learn courage in me. I explore new roads so that I can take shortcuts while we are going for some tours. That's how he motivated me to go on that road trips again. But conditions apply, not on night, go on daytime. With this, I would like to say you all one thing. Whatever your passion is, take it forward, no matter what it happens, no matter where you will land up. That if you have a passion of doing something, let it be n number of struggles, you will get it. There is a quote in Hindi, अगर तुम कुछ चाहे तो पूरा कायनात एक साथ आएगा वो तुम्हें देने के लिए. Translating, if you want something, the entire world will help you to get this thing. With that, back to the table. Toastmaster of the day.
I have not ventured any long drive or trip. Probably I'll take inputs before starting a journey. Moving on, third speaker is attempting level 3 elective project. I request Evaluator Toastmaster Suprit to read the project guidelines.
To
purpose of this project is to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that includes humor. Notes for the evaluator: the member completing this project is working to add humor to a speech through anecdotes and stories. The speech should not be a report on the content of the Know Your Sense of Humor project. Our timer, please note, 5 to 7 minutes. Good luck to the speaker and back to you.
Thank you, Supri. The speaker is BCom graduate from Jain University, currently working at PricewaterhouseCoopers. He is a dog lover, tries all adventure sports. He is a huge Liverpool and Bayern Munich fan. In Toastmasters, currently VPE, in the past VPPR, VPM, Associate Secretary of Mecon Communication Club. Speaker is attempting level 3 elective project. Speech title being, I don't mind being the 20th person. Speaker, Toastmaster Gaurav Badri. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome third speaker of the evening onto the stage, Toastmaster Gaurav Badri, with a round of applause.
Was there any traffic while coming today? Okay. Speaking of traffic, let's imagine you are at a signal and the signal turns green, and as soon as the signal turns green, the person behind you starts honking, pam, 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 starts honking continuously. Have you ever experienced this? Yes. That person is me. Master Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. There is a reason for me to start honking continuously. The person who will be in front of me will be the first person in the entire signal. So being the first person, he has a huge responsibility on his shoulder. He should start his vehicle and get ready on time, and as soon as the signal turns green, he should start moving. But the person who will be in front of me will be in his own world. He'll either be talking to someone on the phone or watching Kacha Badam dance in Instagram. So because of these kinds of people, like as soon as it turns green, he'll try starting his vehicle. That time it won't start at one go. Then he has to kick start it. He's wasting his time, he's wasting my time as well. So government has installed timer in signal, where they say in these many seconds it's gonna turn green, so get ready. Still there are few people who will be in front of me, will be lost in their own world, and as soon as it's turned green, and they'll starting their vehicle then. So what irritates me the most is, I don't like being the second person in line. I don't mind being the 20th person, because I'll somehow get patience saying it's my fate, I cannot do anything, let me just wait. So I'm the second person. I'm so excited, I'm so looking forward that next is my opportunity, it's my turn, next is my turn. But the person who is in front of me is taking his own time, wasting his time and wasting my time as well. That irritates me a lot. In my entire life, I've never found an empty ATM at all. Usually I don't prefer cash payments, I usually do UPI and card payments. But there are few circumstances where I have to withdraw cash. For example, recently I was going to my native. To go to my native, I have to catch a bus. And to buy a bus ticket, I have to give money. I have to give cash to the conductor. If I say I'll do UPI payment or card payment, he'll be like, get out of the bus. So during these circumstances, I have to withdraw cash. So as I was saying, I used to never find empty ATM in my entire life. At least there will be one person inside. The person will be in front of me, will be taking his own time to withdraw cash. He'll be taking more than 5 minutes. I'll be wondering, what is he doing inside for more than 5 minutes? Is he giving some quiz competition to win some Bonvita quiz hamper? Like, how long does it take to withdraw cash? Just go inside the ATM, insert card, type in your PIN, type in how much amount you want, withdraw cash and move on with your life. But if that person is withdrawing some 10,000, 20,000 worth of cash, then I respect that 5 minutes. You take that 20,000, enjoy your life. But there are few people who will be there for more than 5 minutes and they walk out with bare hands. These are weird specimens. So I found one guy who walked out bare hands, spending more than 5 minutes inside an ATM. So I asked him, is there no cash available? What happened? He's like, I don't know. You don't know. Then what were you doing inside for more than 5 minutes? He's like, sir, the thing is, it's so hot outside, so I was standing inside for AC, sir. I had slapped him twice inside my head. But in reality, I cannot do anything. Because if I slap him, I'm gonna be in jail. So I just have to, calm down myself saying, this is my faith, I cannot do anything. Let me just mind my own business. So one day I was been to this ice cream parlor called Baskin Robbins. So I step inside the Baskin Robbins, and my faith, there is already one girl who was standing there ordering her ice cream. So I just stood behind her waiting for my turn. The girl will be around 15 years of age, this BTS fan army generation kind of girl. So in Baskin Robbins, they have 32 types of ice cream. They have 32 flavors of ice cream. And the worst part is, they give each flavor for tasting. So the girl who was in front of me, she went on asking, sir, can I try that? Can I try this? Can you mix this both flavor? Can I try that? I am standing behind her for more than 10 minutes. I'm like, just pick one ice cream and go. We're not asking you to, find your future husband. Just pick one ice cream. How long is it taking for you to pick one ice cream? She had tasted 32 spoons that day. Sorry, it was 33. That mixed flavor was there. So 33 spoons. So after tasting 33 spoons, she tells, I don't know what to take. You don't know? I am standing behind like a joker for 20 minutes, and she tells me she doesn't know what to take. I lost interest on ice cream that day. I didn't want it to have any ice cream. I just walked out of the parlor without buying anything. So dear Toastmasters, in future, next time, if you're standing at a signal and someone from behind honks, don't look behind, just look at the signal and move on. Next time, you're at an ATM enjoying the AC, just realize there is someone who is waiting like me, sweating to withdraw a penny. Next time, when you're confused what ice cream flavor to take, just realize that you have so many other important decisions, life decisions to make in your life. So just pick one flavor and enjoy that ice cream. For all those who are wondering what I'm exactly trying to say, in this world, people won't wait till you get comfortable, till you take your own time and settle in. Sometimes you have to move on according to others' pace as well. Thank you, and back to the master of
What a wonderful practical real life situations enjoyed. With this, we come to an end of first session. Let us jump into the most exciting session, the table topic session. The table topic master for today, she is a BCom graduate, a passionate mandala artist. Music and dance is her go-through therapy. A movie freak. Her dream destination is Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and help me welcome table topic master of the day, Toastmaster Pavani Sia.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, for such a delightful introduction. A very happy evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Table topic session is the most exciting and horror-struck part of the Toastmasters meeting. Here, the main objective is to develop your impromptu skills by talking on the unrehearsed topics that are given to you on spot. Table topics are designed to improve 4 vital skills: listening, thinking, organizing and speaking. The time allotted for the speakers will be at 1 minute, timer displays the green card, at 1 minute 30 seconds, timer displays the yellow card, and at 2 minutes, timer displays the red card. Now, quickly let us start the session. I wanted to make this a fun-filled and a colorful session. So here I am with 2 boxes where one is filled with emojis and one is filled with colors. I can already see a lot of confused faces. Let me clarify it. So when I call out your name, I want you to come here and pick one sheet from the left box which is filled with emojis and one sheet from the right box which is filled with colors. All you need to do is talk about the emoji and colors in your own perspectives. To make it much more simpler, you can form your own stories or talk about the emotions from the colors or anything of your choice. All I want from this session is that it should be filled with colorful emotions, and I would love to know about everybody's perspectives. To be much more precise, let me show you how this works. For instance, I will pick one sheet from this box and another from this. So I got an emoji with glasses and grey color. What would be my perspective on this is, one morning I woke up super happy and I was excited for the day. I went for a walk to the park. There I saw an old man. He was trying to cross the road. He was wearing black glasses and a grey colored attire. Then I realized that he was blind, seeing a stick in his hand. Then something very strange happened. A dog came and helped that man to cross the road. I was just mind blown by this incident, and it was really very heart touching. So this would be my perspective. So now that it is clear for everyone, let us quickly start the session. So the first speaker for today will be Toastmaster Sharanya Prasad.
A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Thank you, Table Topic Master. So my emoji is a smiley emoji, and the color is red. It just denotes that I just came here as a timer smiling, and I just showed this the cards which was red in color, and this smiley emoji is used by us the most, I feel. Okay, coming to this red color. Red color, I feel it's very special for everyone. I guess that is one of my favorite colors. It can be used for every occasion. Coming to the Valentine's Day, red heart, everything red, 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 we can see, and people wearing red clothes. And coming to festivals, they use red lights and the red flowers, which makes everything attractive. And the smiley emoji also can be used by all of us for everything. For any situation, smiley emoji is used. So thank you, and back to you.
Just a minute. Yeah, you can take this. I want you to choose the next speaker from this bowl.
Ujjwal Suresh.
So the next speaker is Ujjwal Suresh.
A very pleasant evening to fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. First I'll pick the shape and then I'll start speaking. Okay. So this is the emoji I got, and this is the color I got. Is this orange or red? Because I'm not sure.
Yeah,
orange. Orange, okay. So this, I think it signifies horror. Like, I'm right now horrified to give this table topic speech. I don't have much experience speaking impromptu like this. And the color orange, I like wearing orange to college because the dress code for college is formal. So usually during Mondays, I wear orange color shirt and go to college. So horrified. Yeah, I am horrified right now. So thank you, and back to you.
One minute. Can you please pick the next speaker?
Toastmaster Monish.
Thank you, table topic master, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear friends. So, okay, this is a very common emoji, so crying emoji, and yellow. Okay, so crying emoji is, well, emoji says it all. Like when you're too over dramatic and you need to show someone that you're sad. I don't really use it that much, but I don't know. Okay, and color yellow. Okay, so the first thing when you say yellow is, I like cars. The first thing comes to my mind is yellow Ferrari. And then a lot of things related to yellow. You know, in Italy and France, there's a place called the Riviera, where it connects France from France to Italy. It's all along the coast, and right next to it is Monaco. So I think that is something that comes to my mind when I look at this. It's a very beautiful place. I think you should all visit that place. So, and combining crying and yellow, I think it's complete opposites for me. But yellow has always been the bright yellow. I mean, when you look at yellow, psychologically also you feel like you're smiling, right? And this is complete opposite, right? So I think yellow is a very, also in any religion also, I think yellow is always shown as a light, something good coming from the gods. So that's my take on it. Thank you.
Pick the next speaker. Toastmaster Sai Snehal.
Table topic master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The emoji that I got is the one where you're feeling sick, which I will after the topic, and yellow. We all fall sick very often. The weather has not been really kind to us from past few days. It's been raining and pouring. We all try to wear a pullover or drink a cup of hot water. Try to maintain a good healthy diet as well. We do our best to stay healthy. And coming to yellow, all I can think is I try to rush whenever I see a yellow sign on the signal, because I don't want to stay like second person what Gaurav was saying. We all should exercise, be healthy, stay safe. Thank you, and back to the table.
Toastmaster Ujjwal.
The color which I have got is purple and the emoji which I have got is as you can see, yeah, I will. So the emoji I have got is delicious. Firstly, when I heard the word delicious, one thing which I get is gulab jamun. I think if during my icebreaker speech, if any of the members have seen my icebreaker speech, I had brought gulab jamun and I had eaten in front of the audience. So coming to the purple, the color purple, as you can see, I'm wearing today. So I think I'm lucky to got this color in my topic today. Thank you, and over to you.
Wait 1 second. Can you pick the next speaker?
Toastmaster Sai Priya.
So I've got a black color and a doubtful emoji. So what comes to me is in black, in my childhood I was very optimistic and I was very positive, but later I've become a little negative due to my parents' constant negative energy put by telling negatively about me and talking negatively about me to everyone, which is not true at all. And it's also the color of death in our spiritual in all religions. And black also reminds me of the sad and very traumatic incidents during my phase of life. And I always keep communicating with the Lord, asking why me, why this happens to only me. And I always am in an introspective mode, and in spiritual classes I always do self-introspection, and I ask a lot of intelligent questions to the speaker, and everyone have come up with that opinion and feedback to me and my parents, and they are very happy about it because I'm a very inquisitive learner and always have intuitive powers. So it works sometimes, but it works all the time actually. And I get my answers always through the universe. Always we are communicating, and correctly whenever I am upset I get a nice motivating element from the universe and people around me. And that's it. Thank you very much. Back to the table topic. Can you please pick for the next speaker? Shreya.
Guest Shreya. Thank you.
The emoji that I got is the angry emoji, and the color is blue. So this is the not most used, but this is the one that my brother calls me all the time, angry bird. And the color blue is I mostly have all my clothes in blue. Blue is my favorite color. This gives me peace seeing this blue color. That's
Can you please pick for the next speaker? Thank you. Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa.
My dear friends, I got this and clarified from the table topic master. It is a weeping this thing. You have heard child weeps. What for the child weeps? Born child to get the milk. That means if you want to, when the younger age, when you are a baby, to get something, because babies cannot express anything, they try to weep. So this is how the weeping phenomena occurs. I have come across some people during emotional, when they get excitement, a tears comes also from there. Just now English professor was telling whether we have to understand whether she is weeping or enjoying. So some excitement will be there always, that one only. Other one is empty. Life is, what is the algebraic sum of your life? If you take plus minus together, it comes to empty only, zero only. If you calculate all your lifetime, plus minus, it will be empty only. So hoping to, you have to live happily, joyfully and enjoy it. Never expect any gratitude or expect ingratitude from other things. Then count your blessings, not your troubles. You have to be this thing. You have your own signature, try to develop your own way. So then the life becomes like this. You will be very happy, enthusiastic. Be happy. After all, how many days we are going to stay here? Birth is okay. Other things we don't know. So the world is white. Be white. See everything happily and enjoy very much. May God bless all of you.
I hope everyone had a great time today and it was a fun-filled session. Thank you, and back to you, MC.
It's a very creative table topic session. Enjoyed thoroughly. It is time for a 10-minute break now. Welcome back. We come to the final session of the day, the evaluation session. Today's general evaluator is Charter VP Education of Mecon Communication Club, past president for 4 terms, past finance manager, Territorial Council of South Asia, Triple Crown winner. His interests: music, disciple of late Pandit Sheshadri Gawai, travel and reading are his hobbies. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome General Evaluator of the Day, DTM MU Bhatt, onto the stage with a thunderous round of applause.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay Upendra, for that wonderful introduction. Your verbatim reproduced whatever I had sent you. That's very nice of you. Honestly, to start at this beginning of the meeting, I was totally entangled by the theme itself because I could not really make out. But after listening to 2 wonderful dissertations on entanglement and empowerment by the President and the Master of Ceremony, and the subsequent speeches, 3 wonderful speeches by 3 speakers, 2 rather humorous, one very highbrow humorous, another is down-to-earth humorous, and the third one is a journey into pursuing one's passion. 3 wonderful speeches, a rather creative table topic session. I feel empowered today. That's all what we are looking for in Toastmasters, that at the end of the day you become empowered to become a better communicator. And that's what happened today, and I'm really thankful to you for selecting that particular topic, which really flummoxed my mind for a while, but fine. Okay, let's straight away get into the general evaluation. For the benefit of our guests, general evaluation is about generally evaluating whatever happened from the beginning to the end in the meeting, to know how we have fared for that day. We can say something like a Japanese Kaizen principle, that we get better and better day by day, working on whatever was gone well and continuing to do that, and any lacuna we will try to overcome that so that we don't do it again. That is the idea of general evaluation. So with that we get better and better day by day, week by week after. That's the general idea of general evaluation. So let's get straight into the evaluation mode. The business meetings are slightly late. I think 6:30 we started sharp, no problem. There is a brief business session by the President. One major announcement is next week there is not going to be any meeting because of the Diwali. You all people will be busy celebrating Diwali at home. So we'll meet 1 week later than that. And VP Education updated us on the roles and allocated for the next week whenever the coming meeting was that. And then the Sergeant at Arms took over. Vaishnavi, where are? Here. My vision is going that side. Sorry about that. So Vaishnavi, one thing is you are coming up as a good. You are a stand-in Sergeant at Arms, I think, isn't it? Or Associate Sergeant at Arms. But you have been taking up this role for quite some time, I think now. That's wonderful, and you are doing an amazing job. One thing great about this is your smile is really amazing. That's what's required for certain minimum requirement for a Sergeant at Arms is you should have a powerful voice, which you have. You have got a smile on your face, you do exhibit. Very nice. And your introduction relating to the theme, I really appreciated. That entanglement and empowerment, you connected to the theme of the day, and then while introducing the president. That is something very creative of you, very nicely done. Only one suggestion I can give you is a challenging yourself. Sergeant at Arms is one role which you should do with aplomb. That if you read out something from this written script, that robs some of its energy. Probably you can, particularly the introduction of the president, if you can just by heart those few lines and then introduce him as though you knew her for the last 1,000 years, that will really add energy to the meeting. That's what I felt. Otherwise, a wonderful way of a Sergeant at Arms role you have done. Let's give a bigger round of applause to that. Then President took over. There are 4 guests, I think. I think one new guest has come who has not introduced herself. You have.
She's not.
Yeah. Can you introduce yourself just so that people know?
Hi, I'm Sarodi, and I'm an designer. I'm freelancing right now.
You're welcome. I think before I proceed further, I think you can fill in that best speaker and best evaluator right away, so that you are not influenced by the evaluators. You have sent it already, right? Okay, meanwhile, let me come to the President. Ma'am, today's was a speech. I was really amazed. It was one of your, it is a very, very powerful speech befitting a president of Mekon Communication Club. That's what I can say. For a long time, I'm hearing a speech which is so much value added, and you told me there's so much conviction you told, and you are the right person to talk about it, because it was about you explain the term entanglement and empowerment and relate it to your own life. And we have all seen you, how you have come up, how you are as a housewife looking after 2 children, what are the entanglement you had, how you overcame that and empowered yourself. That you brought about beautifully well. And your contribution to the society as a president of Inner Wheel and all, something, it is a guidance for many of the Toastmasters, that what work you are doing, and all these things you have brought in your speech with so much clarity. I really appreciate it. One of the most wonderful presidential addresses I've heard. Congratulations on that. Let's give a big round of applause to our president. Next, our great man, Master of Ceremony, took over. I will come to last, sir. Let us first get the individual evaluations from the evaluators. There were 3 wonderful speeches. The first speech was L1P2 first one was delivered by Lakshmi and evaluated by Jyoti Rao. Can I have your evaluation, ma'am?
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests, and special good evening to Toastmaster Lakshmi. Your speech was so wonderful that I'm mesmerized, and I am so lost in giving the evaluation. Though I have, as per the guidelines, I have evaluated in 3 parts: what you excelled at and what you would want to work on and challenge yourself. So what you excelled at was you were very innovative and exceptional speech. I have never, English is we speak, but we have not got any time into such a detailed and specific oriented mode of language words. I remember the movie where Chupke Chupke where Dharmender says D-O do to G-O gu kyun nahi hota hai, go kyun hota hai. So but you came out with a vast words and usage of words. You engaged the audience with humor, like we were all like, it was very interesting and a very humorous speech that you gave. And what you can work on is not much, but because it was a presentation, a coordination with the person who was presenting the PPT, or maybe you could have had a control over it, because whenever you were distracted with the presenter, the audience also got distracted, and whenever the slide was being changed, because you were in the center, at least I could not see the content of the PPT, and which, like, I didn't know whether I should see that or you will be covering it. So that is one thing that you can work on. And what you can challenge is, because you have such a clarity and comfort with your language and behind the lectern, we would look forward for your speech per se and not a presentation, because as a speech you would bring in a lot more of the content, which you are very well, and articulation of your content is so good, and it would make much more impact to hear a speech per se. But all in all, an exceptional speech which had humor, information, long-lasting, knowledgeable, and much to learn from you, because with the confidence and your clarity, which is very exceptional, and we as Toastmasters, we learn a lot from you, and thank you, and all the best to Toastmaster Lakshmi, and back to the General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Jyoti Rao, for that wonderful evaluation. And Lakshmi, you are, we had one person called Dr. Vijay Shri over here. We called him Astan Grammarian. I think you are a blessed replacement for that, I can find. Because the way you can articulate and master the language, we can understand, we can only hats off to you, something really amazing. The one thing I can, before I come to you, Jyoti, I can first talk about her speech, because that really impressed me in more than one way. One thing is about the English language you spoke, and the theme was, as you rightly brought out from the beginning itself, rules are plenty, exceptions exceed them. That was the total theme of that, and that is the beauty of English. That is the beauty of the problem with English language, and that you brutally brought about your problem regarding these are all minor problems. Yes, probably the font could have been bigger for a better view. That was that you learn day by day. You can do that, and you are a working professional, so you will definitely know that what is readable and all that. But wonderfully done, and I really thoroughly, particularly all that John and Kiran story, that ouch, OUGH, the tip going off versus going, you brought out beautifully well. Always we saw the idiosyncrasies, the problems with English language day in and day out. For example, a chance is there. A fat chance and a thin chance mean the same thing. So these are the things, I used to always say earlier, the English language and my wife has got one thing in common. Because in my born days, I have not been able to understand either of them. So that is the beauty of English language. So anyway, wonderful job done. And Jyoti, as far as your evaluation is concerned, it was right on track, very empowering. You brought whatever good points you have brought about, and you also suggested something which is not exactly connected with it, so that you can talk something more sophisticated, more value-adding subjects than this sort of subject. That's what you brought about. But doesn't mean anything, because there is a place for this kind of speeches also in Toastmasters. It keeps us in good humor, and it gives us all the language problems and all that. So wonderful job done, and your evaluation was right on track, very nicely done. very empowering, and you told all the good points you suggested also. For the great job done by Jyoti and our Lakshmi, let's give a round of applause. Second speech was again a L1 P2 speech delivered by Udanka and evaluated by Shiva. Can I have your evaluation, Shiva?
DTM Udanka was lost somewhere in Kanakpura. I get lost in Tyagaraja Nagar every day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, General Evaluator. DTM Udanka spoke about a topic which he was really passionate about. I know him, he's a traveler, he likes going around places. So naturally, what he chose to speak about was traveling, getting lost, wandering at places. And I think that part was done really well by you. You chose a topic which you were passionate about. He was wearing the same jacket that he went on that trip also. So that shows you how passionate he is about that. Now, coming to the emotion that I felt when you were speaking. Udanka had been somewhere near Kanakpura with his friends and with his family, and he was lost somewhere. Although he was lost, I wanted to be feeling that even I was lost along with him. Now I didn't get that feeling from the speech because of a lack of voice modulation, or maybe you could say the lows in your speech. When you said we were confused, don't know where to go, we were lost, our phone battery was really low. The lows were really low, but the highs, like when you were excited, let us do this, doesn't matter what happens, let us go ahead and face this. The highs were not high enough, was what I felt. Coming to the preparation, probably a bit more content would have sufficed in that speech. I felt it was a bit short on content. Like you said, you were going around in circles, left, right, everywhere in that same area. You were coming back to that same place. I felt your speech was in the same way. It was going around in circles, going there again. Let us again somehow come out of this forest. It was going back to that same place, and I felt it was a bit short on content in that aspect. Next point I want to bring up is the structure of the speech. The opening was great. You started off with a question, you grabbed everyone's attention, but then coming to the body of the speech, as I said, which I just spoke about, the audience I saw, they were getting a bit disconnected. Probably, again, the same thing, the content, if you had worked on, that would have been better. Coming to the ending of the speech, you gave a quote, a very popular quote that most people are aware of. किसी चीज़ को दिल और जान से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात, whatever. Now what I felt was this quote relevant to your speech? It was a speech about going with your friends, a few friends somewhere at night, going to a forest and getting lost somewhere. And you give a speech about I really want some, and you give a quote about I really want something, and the universe will make it happen. Now probably a quote more relevant would have been something like a quote by Steve Jobs that everyone knows, stay hungry, stay foolish. Would have worked for that speech. Finally, to conclude, good speech, a topic which you picked, which you were passionate about. If you had worked on your content, it would have been a great speech. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Shiva, for that very incisive evaluation. I liked it because Udanka is a distinguished Toastmaster. You can definitely take that kind of liberty, I feel. Because when I talk also, or Prabhakara talks, you can also be that critical. You can afford to be, because certain level is expected from a distinguished Toastmaster and all that. So probably the critical evaluation of yours, what I find today, I don't find it out of place, because you have been a bit more incisive on his evaluation. You told about how their lows were not low enough and highs were not high enough. The content was rather sketchy, and that ending was not appropriate, or it could have been better. Those are all very, very well told. About your structure also could have been better because the content lacked. These are all very valid points I would find. But he has chosen the storytelling technique to deliver this passion of travel and what he did. Probably somewhere along the way, I think you also missed that. The story should have a development and a crisis and the resolution of crisis, and that's how the climax comes, and some characters. If that you would have brought, it would have probably involved the audience a bit more. That's what I felt. Otherwise, your speech was very much in place. It was a nice place. Your passion you brought about. Yes, as rightly suggested by Shiva, some points would have been taken to a higher level. And Shiva, congratulations on that. You have shown that courage to be more, upfront in telling what exactly you felt about the content, and that, because that's what is required for all of us. And you have done a great job. Let's give a round of applause to both Vedanta and Shiva for that. There is a third speech. It was an elective. I don't mind being a 20th person, delivered by our great man. He is my mentee. Suppose this speech should have been mentored by me, but he has gone one step ahead of that, because I did not give him suggestion to him for this. Probably took guidance from some other people also, and done an amazing job done. Let's give an evaluation from our Supreet. Where is our evaluator? Supreet, please evaluate.
I better start my evaluation quickly, or the next speaker, if it's Gaurav, he'll push me out of the lectern. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and Toastmaster Gaurav Badri in particular, let me split your evaluation into three simple parts. What went well, what you can work on, and a nice summary for you. What went well? Amazingly relatable stories, right? Nobody sitting in the audience can ever renege that they don't know what this is, right? Something that's beautifully done. And one of the things that the audience calls for is audience awareness. How well can you keep the audience involved throughout your speech, and you were bang on with it. Let's accept it. We've all been at a signal, at an ATM, or at an eatery, irritated at some point in time, and you brought out the beauty of it. Very nicely done. This is exactly what we call observational humor, right? We see it day in, day out, but it's very nice when you bring it out in a very subtle way and you get those laughs. Beautifully done on that. The second thing, they say in comic or in comedy or in humor, timing is very important. And all your jokes were timed well, they landed brilliantly. You did not have one story that was very funny and the rest of it that was a drag. You had it peppered throughout, and it started with the beginning. That guy is me. Now every time someone honks me, I'm going to turn around to see if it's Gaurav, right? So that was the timing. You started and it went on from there. To ask the guy coming out of the ATM what you don't know. From there to say you're choosing just a flavor, not your future husband. So from there, every para, every story, every line had some sort of humor for the audience to laugh, and you had enough laughs throughout your speech. Great job done. The third thing, the comfort level you had as a speaker behind the lectern. Says how comfortable was the speaker is one of the questions the manual asks. I would rate you very high on it. They say opening with humor for such a speech is a risk to take, because if that falls flat, you have a disconnect instantly with the audience. But you took that risk and it landed for you, and from there was no stopping. You were in your skin, you were in your elements, so beautifully done. Having said that, let me transition to what you could have done better. And the first thing that hits me are your transitions. You had three stories. You started well, you had a nice story about the signal, and abruptly you said, the other day I was at an ATM. And from there you started your ATM story. And suddenly you said, one day I was at Baskin Robbins. There was no transition between your stories, right? So I finished, I crossed that signal, and I wanted to withdraw some cash because I was heading out of town. So I stopped at an ATM to withdraw cash. I withdrew that cash, it was raining. So I thought, let me stop for a nice ice cream in the evening. And I landed up at Baskin Robbins. So the way you transition makes your story seamless. So that is what you could have done better. The second thing, vocal variety and body language. They say these are two things that you can play around with to evoke emotions in people, especially when it's humor. Just one tool, you could have just looked down and said, the guy coming out of the ATM, you don't know, could have been, you don't know, what? It's a very used technique, but it works. So bring out these vocal varieties to inflict that humor, to inflict that emotion in people, and use your body language. You have a big stage to work on. The third thing and the final thing for me was your conclusion. You thought it was good, you had a message for us, you tried to imbibe that very subtly, which was nicely done. I would expect a speech like this to go on a high, the audience laughing extensively, and then you closing out. And I get that for wow factor for that speech. Because you can do it, I'm expecting it out of you. So the next time you can do this. So to summarize it, a very good speech with apt humor that had the audience in splits, great stories throughout, lovely usage of grammar, lovely usage of the English language. So if it's an ATM, it's hot outside, AC inside. If it's Gaurav, it's straight face outside, a lot of humor inside. Back to you.
Thank you, Suprit, for that textbook kind of evaluation. This is one thing which we learn, with Toastmasters, as a general evaluator, let me tell you, it is not that we learn only behind the lectern. We learn when we sit there also, observing others. I think today when you observe Suprit doing the evaluation, you know how the evaluation has to be done. The kind of thing he did, he dwelt on the strengths, the weakness, and what brought about, of course the transition was rather glaring. I think so how we missed, I do not know. But otherwise, even the other points what he brought about regarding body language or voice modulation, the closing could have been a bit more interesting. Those points were very well done, and the way you put it, all the points to him, was simply amazing. I think there's one thing we should learn when others do some good work, that's what we learn from that. That's what that wonderful evaluation by Suprit, and you have at least lived up to my reputation as a mentor, because I was worried about that, because I failed in not giving him a proper ending. He was struggling for that. Probably his stories were okay, but the ending was he was having trouble. But he managed quite well, I should say. Wonderful job done. As Suprit pointed out, actually you can, with the voice modulation, you can probably work out more. You are capable of that. You can do that. And a wonderful. Please give a wonderful round of applause for both our Suprit and our Gaurav. Next, we come to the table topic section. There were Pavani. You have done a creative kind of table topic session. You call that, you brought one emotions on one side and color. So you probably thought that they will bring some colorful emotions. Probably in many of the cases it was not as colorful as probably would have expected it. But it's a real challenge. Particularly, say for example, emoji itself is a challenge for many of us, even for seniors like us, Veerabhadrappa, myself, maybe Prabhakar also, I don't know. I am not able to understand many of the emojis myself. We are all technology challenged, what they say. Not now. The latest term is not that. We can't say technology illiterate. We will say technology challenged. So the technology challenged persons like us find reconcile with these emojis and that kind of thing. So, but only one point I could tell was 8 topics is a bit lesser. And what happened was you have generally in Toastmasters what we do is whoever has not taken up any role, all of them have to be covered. Whoever. So you can probably avoid Sharanya, maybe she has taken, maybe you can pray H.O. Prabhakara, or like that. Whoever has missed out, probably that we should call. As soon as the table topic master comes to the hall, she or he should see who all have come today. Make a note of it. Then prepare your chits, whatever you want to. And the chit portion also is a bit of a problem. What happens was, all of us, it keeps us in dark. And that emojis also visibility problem, all those such things are there. Probably a general other areas of general interest stories, if you are taken up, it would have been probably better. But I do not take the right of you to select the way you have done it. It was a very creative, but yes, the reactions would have been better, could have been better by the audience. That's what I felt. So that's one thing. See, if you see the number of persons participating at 8, I think, 8 topics. So that's the only thing, but wonderful, the way you explained about table topics and the way you are presented with a smile, it was really good, wonderful job done. Let's give a round of applause to Pavani for the job done. Now let's get a report from the role takers. Let us first listen to timer Sharanya again. Sharanya.
Once again, good evening everyone. Here goes the timer report for today's meeting. The meeting commenced at 6:34. The business session went on for 10 seconds. Welcome by Surgery at Arms, that was by Toastmaster Vaishnavi, went on for 1 minute 57 seconds. Presidential address was by Toastmaster Lalana Murthy, went on for 5 minutes 52 seconds. Introduction of Toastmaster of the day went on for 53 seconds. Report of the previous meeting, that is reading minutes of meeting, went on for 1 minute 43 seconds by Toastmaster Shiva Prasad. Then came the MC Toastmaster Vijay Upendra. He spoke for 11 minutes 20 seconds in total. Coming to the prepared speech speakers, we had 3 speakers today. Speaker Toastmaster Lakshmi spoke for 7 minutes 27 seconds. Speaker DTM Udanka spoke for 7 minutes 18 seconds. Speaker Toastmaster Gaurav spoke for 6 minutes 32 seconds. The next session was the table topic session, which went on for 16 minutes in total. We had 8 speakers, out of which 4 speakers spoke below 1 minute, 3 spoke above 1 minute, and 1 spoke above 2 minutes. Individual report for this session has been written on the board, and I request everyone to have a look at it. The networking session went on for 9 minutes 40 seconds. Coming to the individual evaluation, Toastmaster Jyoti evaluated for 3 minutes 13 seconds. Toastmaster Shiva Prasad evaluated for 3 minutes 17 seconds. Toastmaster Supreet evaluated for 3 minutes 50 seconds. Now coming to the general evaluation, it has gone for 15 minutes 40 seconds so far. Thank you, and back to you, GMU.
Thank you, Sharanya, for that professional way you did maintain the timings today, and the way you explained in the beginning what the importance of time. Amazing job done. Let's give a round of applause to her. Let's call the Ujjwal our counter. Yes, Ujjwal.
A very happy evening once again to all the fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. I thoroughly observed throughout the meeting, so here is my report. The presidential address by Toastmaster Lalana, 1 hour. Toastmaster Sharanya, about introduction about the timer, 2 hours. Coming to the speakers, Toastmaster Gaurav was flawless throughout his speech. And coming to the evaluators, Toastmaster Jyoti, 4 hours, 1 repeated word and 4 times, and like 3 times, and there was 1 small pause. Coming to DTM Udanka, the repeated word hour 2 times, 1, and there was 1 small pause. Coming to the evaluator, Toastmaster Shiva, 2 hours. Toastmaster Supreet, 1 hour. Table topic master, Toastmaster Pavani CR, repeated word so 2 times. Toastmaster Sharanya in the table topic speakers, 1 hour, repeated word and 2 times. Toastmaster Ujjwal Suresh, 1 hour. Toastmaster Munish, 1 hour. Toastmaster Sai Snehal, 1 hour. Guest Sai Priya, 2 hours. Toastmaster Ujjwal myself, 4 hours. Guest Shreya was flawless, and MU Bhatt sir in the general evaluation till now 5 hours. Thank you, and back to you, Ji.
Thank you, Ujjwal. And I think I continue to hold my record as the highest R count in any speech. That's fine. So one thing, Ujjwal, I liked about yours was you come every time with some creative idea of how to introduce the topic. Today you brought about that black spot on the white paper. That was simply a really creative way of introducing. How a speech gets, a wonderful speech gets marred just by the few hours and what you use. Wonderful job done, and a very accurate recording of the number of hours. So let's give a round of applause to Ujjwal for that. Let's listen to our parliamentary procedure evaluator, Vaishnavi. Yes, Vaishnavi.
Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. No one spoke about sex, religion and politics, but there was a ringtone in between the meeting. So please make sure to keep the cell phones on silent. And there were a bit disturbances, but that's all right. Thank you, and back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Yes, the disturbances did disturb us. A couple of them, when people came in after a few minutes, also they had to make arrangement for the OSP. So anyway, you have done your job very well and told wherever I missed all the parliamentary procedures. Wonderful job done. Let's give a round of applause to Vaishnavi for the job. Now listen to our grammarian Sai Snail.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, here goes the report for today's grammarian. I'll start off with a could be better usage and go on with the good usage so we can end on a good note. Starting with in the December could have been in December or in the month of December. No route further could have been no further route. How the chilled nights could have been how chilled the nights were. Courage came down could have been courage dropped. Never lose hopes could have been just hope. Neighbors, fathers could have been neighbor, father. Furious face on their faces could have been furious look on their faces. It's my faith, it's my fate. I didn't want it to could have been I didn't want to. Eaten in front could have been ate in front. I mesmerized could have been I was mesmerized. And the words which empowered good speeches starts with stipulated period, limit the remarks, vibrantly attractive, one order of English served funky side up, and basically entire Toastmaster Lakshmi's speech comes in the good usages. It was too much for me to note down. The language that you speak shapes the way you think was a fantastic statement. First person responsibility, slapped him twice in my head. In your skin, in your elements, inquisitive learner, wonderful dissertations, and finally the beauty of English. Thank you, and back to the
Thank you, Sai Snail, for that report. One thing I really appreciate about Sai Snail is he has all along been like our man Friday. If there is some emergency, you just look at him. Today, Veerbhadrappa was somewhere stuck in Silk Board Junction, I think, on the way from Electronic City. So he was the designated grammarian, but on the last moment it was given to him, and he is creatively, because he was not prepared for that, even used that creative, what Ujjwal used the same example to introduce the topic. That was really creative of you. I really liked it, and you as a grammarian, you brought out all the things, good usages or not so good usages, very nicely done, word of the day, what you have used. So wonderful job done. Let's give a round of applause to our side. I think coming finally to our bridegroom, Mr. Master of Ceremony, main question. One thing is, Vijay Upendra, as one thing what I found from you personally, because one day you came to our house also all the way, because I know about how you operate. You are a learner. You know, that is what is required in Toastmasters. All of us will, at least I learned from you one lesson, that we need to be learners all our life, and you are practicing it. I have given you sometimes suggestion that you should try to become more comfortable behind the lecture, and that you experimented today, you know, by the turning action and all that. I think it was a deliberate move by you. That was really nice, and that is how you attain that level of comfort behind the lecture, so that you are free, you can do whatever you want, you can move around from here to here, and you are the control of the whole situation. That is what we are trying to achieve in Toastmasters, in my opinion. You have to be comfortably able to address a group of gathering, whatever you want to say, with the heart, so that it reaches their heart. And you have done an amazing job. And you have, when you really put me in a hassle regarding that entanglement, I was really entangled in my thought what exactly you are trying to say. But you always select some sophisticated or intellectual type. I think just as we use the Astan grammarian, I think you are a Astan, what you call, philosopher, what? Buddhijeevi. No, Buddhijeevi is a very bad connotation, because it is told. So you are always selecting some topics which are having intellectual import, and not that. Today you analyzed and told it in a very clear manner. That's what I really liked. That entangled to empowerment, the transformation from both in the case of animals and human beings. And human beings have got a choice to do that. Animals by nature provide the transformation, whether it is an insect or in a metamorphosis, whatever happens. But in human beings, we have got a choice of that, how you do the metamorphosis. That entanglement, how you came out of, come out of that, and actually that our president explained in their own life experience wonderfully well. How the transformation can take place, coming out of entanglement and empowering still yourself. That you brought about very nicely, how you have to introspect and transform yourself. There is a thing you brought about, and how you told your own example regarding singing and dancing, how you came about that. because many times the entanglement in our lives are imaginary. They are not really there at all. We think that those are entanglements. There are no entanglements. So that is one probably could have brought that aspect also in your speech. I would have appreciated it. But I really liked the way you took charge of your lecture. It was very nicely done. And your connecting to the Toastmaster to the theme was really very, very amazing. Toastmaster's theme, the movement, that came out so very well. Very nicely done. And what suggestion I can give? I can't really give any very big suggestion, except that I felt that what I do normally as master of ceremony whenever it comes, all the introductions of the particular speaker, I write down, I make it, and I got a time between two speeches to even revise those. I make it by heart. Whether it's the president or any speaker or anybody, that should come look spontaneous. Toastmaster, the idea is it is not spontaneous, but it should appear to be spontaneous or coming from the heart. When you introduce the president, you should think as though you know her for 1,000 years. And tell it without looking into what exactly the introduction was written down. That is one thing you can probably challenge yourself, and I know you'll do it because you're a learner. Another suggestion I can give you is you brought out the speakers' names twice. Whether it's speaker Udanka or our Lakshmi, or first you told their name, then you tell let us invite again that. That robs off certain energy into that. That introduction. That name should come as a surprise in the end. Only the name, only one name. With thunderous applause, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome onto the stage DTM Udanka. That would give that kind of thing. First telling Udanka and again repeating, it will rob off something. So otherwise, an amazing job, and I really thoroughly enjoyed your master of ceremony role today. Let's give a resounding round of applause to overall, as I told you, came out of the entanglement and empowered myself. Wonderful speeches, wonderful tape. Our presidential address, really thoroughly enjoyed. Your speech was really, empowering for me at least. Yeah. Wonderful, and I feel that we should continue to do such meetings. It was one of the good meetings I felt. Though our table topics participation could have been better, that's what I felt. We more than the topics, that even the participation. Probably that topics were not giving enough fodder for the speaker to come out with some suitable. Because what happens is we are all learning communication here. So we have got our own limitations. So if that kind of topic, sometimes it becomes difficult to come out with the proper response. That was the only thing. Otherwise, a wonderful session as a whole today. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure all of you would have. With that, back to you, Master Secretary.
Evaluation session. What a great learning. Fantastic inputs I got throughout the entire meeting of this particular session. Today's meeting is amazing. I enjoyed and learned different viewpoints and various dimensions. One should have aspiration to come out or disengage from entanglement so that one gets empowered. Finally, I would like to say, aspire to inspire before you expire. I repeat, aspire to inspire before you expire. Thank you, and back to charming President Navalana.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, for that empowering session on entanglement and empowerment. And anyway, we had good responses starting from the Sergeant at Arms and yourself as our General Evaluator explained. I think we had an excellent meeting today, I should say, with very good speeches. We had 3 speeches and I really don't know how time went, and accurate evaluations with our Master Evaluator, Toastmaster Supreet, and of course our budding Toastmaster Prasad, who is also coming up, and everyone, even Toastmaster Jyoti. So it was an excellent meeting, I should say, and of course we had that experimental table topic session, which could have been better as General Evaluator, DTM MU, but elaborated. And the general evaluation session by DTM MU, but as always was very comprehensive. He went into details of everything with constructive feedback, I should say. So kudos to you, sir, on that. And before I come to the other aspects, as I mentioned earlier in the business session, I said we would have a next meeting on 31st October. That will be our Moments of Truth session. We are going to have it on that day. Incidentally, that is the cutoff date to have the Moments of Truth session for us. And our area director, Toastmaster Sri Ram, is also going to be here. So I would request all the members to be present in full strength, and I think VP, we should also post it in the group and make sure that all the other members also attend the session. So that's one thing. Coming to the feedback, I request all our regular members to give their feedback in the Pathways Base Camp to the respective speakers and role takers, and please do inform them about it. I hope all of you have exercised your ballots, because that is how we participate in the meetings. Coming to the winners of today's meeting, the best role taker TAPG goes to Toastmaster Sai Snehal. The best role taker MTG goes to DTM MU Butt. The best individual evaluator is Toastmaster Supreet. The best table topic speaker is Toastmaster Sai Snehal. And the best speaker. This was really difficult because all of them were good. However, it goes to Toastmaster Gaurav.
You're first now.
With that, I close meeting number 1184 and request everyone to raise for the National Anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाये तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
I request everyone to assemble here for the group photograph, please.